Hey Saber fans, welcome back. This is Adam from Force Sabers. Super excited to introduce this brand new saber to you. This is my Kylo Ren inspired saber. Really a huge fan of Kylo Ren. Love the way they introduced him into the Force Awakens movie and just how they developed the character over the course of the next few movies. Really huge fan, so I wanted to make a saber in honor of him because I just love that character and there's so much depth into him, so I wanted to bring that into how I designed the saber. I know traditionally his saber is a cross guard, but I like a traditional just one-bladed saber, so this is the design I came out with. Now with my designs I've been doing, I'm kind of moving into the future. I'm going to be switching them up a little bit. As you can see, this is slightly different than we maybe have seen in the past. Even with just the paint, I've added even more design into it. As you can see up here in the emitter area, there's a cool transition of this blue to gold and silver bronze in there. So that is done with a airbrush. I haven't used my airbrush in quite some time, but I wanted to bring that out because there's different techniques that you can do to really kind of blend everything into a certain area and the way it transitions, and that you can kind of do with a airbrush a little different than you can do with just like a traditional painting technique with a brush. So I incorporated that into it. You can see down here is the switch area. Now that's also going to be changing too with my designs. I'm trying to get out of using that traditional switch, make it more flow into the saber. So this is just one of the ways I'm going to be doing it. You still have this traditional two switch area where I would use a switch, like a dual tactile switch, or just a regular 12mm. Trying to get away from that to just more make it into like a seamless, like you really don't see a switch in there, but it is there. And then this one is going to be different as well, and I'll show you that. This is my Force switch that I'm using, and I'll tell you that in a bit. And then down here with the leather, and I have this cool gold nylon I used. And so with that too, when I'm designing these, is I try to come up with different ways to make it more interesting to look at. So just with the paint and the way the build is, and then down to the leather and the nylon, it just creates more interest, more textures you can get into the builds. So let's go into what the saber is and what it's all about. Inside is a Proffie 2.2 soundboard. Now it's an all-in-one chassis, so the entire chassis can slide out. You can charge the battery up that way. Has a high amp, high drain battery. So that is for the Neopixel blade that comes with this one. So let's go into the design and the way this one looks. So like I said, with the paint scheme, I wanted to give a cool, really weathered saber with this one, and then with different elements of where it was burnt, just like his. So as you can see up here, it transitions from this blue with some silver in here. Let's see if I can get an angle so you can kind of see this transition a little bit better. Down to a bronze and gold in there. And you can see up here it also has it as well, and that goes all the way around. Now down here, bring it a little bit closer here, so you can see it really has this cool weathered metal look, even though it is 3D printed. A little bit of rust here, some rust up here. Really love the way this came out. Kept some gold here to go along, since he's got some gold in his saber as well. So you can see right down here is a retention screw. Now that's a retention screw for the chassis that locks it in place. Down to the switch area. So you can see these switches are totally different. And I'll go back to that in a second here. Now I really love the way this came out. So you have this nylon wrap that I found. So this is gold, and I weathered it down. So you can see all these weathering marks here. Because if you're holding the saber and got weathered over time. Also brings down that shininess too. So you get these just different transition, makes it more interesting to look at. Down to the leather wrapped area, genuine black leather, super comfortable to hold. Great grip area, as you can see. Put my whole hand around there. So got a little bit of extra play if I want to move it up and down. And you got this nice choke point here as well. Down to the pommel. I wanted to make a pretty chunky pommel on this. I think it adds to the overall design because his saber is pretty big. It's pretty thick. Now if you can see here, I love the way this design came out. You almost can see where it goes in and out as you rotate it. And down to the soundboard there. So back to the switch. So this is a switch that I created and came out with. You're going to be seeing this quite a bit. And a little bit of hint about the future is you're going to be seeing these switches very often with some new saber designs that might be coming out in the next month or two. I'm really excited about that. I'll be making an announcement pretty soon, maybe in the next couple of weeks as we get more squared away. So with this switch here, completely removable. So this isn't really actually a switch, this is just a dummy switch in here. Also removable if you wanted to, but that just keeps the place. But you can see here, this is a switch design I came up with. Completely magnetic. Just pops right back on here. Doesn't move, locked in place, will not fall out, but then fire up the saber. This is my magnetic force switch, and the other cool thing too is that you could pull it out. So when you're gripping it, swinging it around, no chance of hitting the switch at all. And if you wanted to, just pop it right back in here, and then you're locked back in. So let's throw a blade in here so you can see some of the cool effects that you can do with the Proffie board. Alright, so we have our blade installed here. So this has the pogo pins for the chassis in here. So you just push the blade in a little bit. You can actually feel the tension on the pogo pins push into the saber, into the chassis. And then once you feel a little bit of that tension, you just tighten down that retention screw and then you're all locked in. You will push our force magnetic switch here. Oh. That was my Sauron font. Let's go back to my unhinged font or Kylo Ren font. So we're just going to hold the button in. Son of Darkness. So holding the button in, we'll go up on the sound fonts and then doing a press about of a second and releasing, we'll go the other direction on the sound fonts. Now one of the coolest things with the Proffie board is that you get all these cool different blade transition effects. You can see down here where it heats up, you'll get this cool glow of white until it fades back into the blade color. And of course you have your unstable blade. Comes with a full 36-inch blade. get all your blaster effects. Lock up. I'll just go over a couple of the blade effects that you get with this. Check out my other video, go over all the different blade profiles, all the effects, and the differences that you get with them. The way you move the blade, move the saber around, will change the way, for example, your lockup goes up and down the blade. So check out that video. I'll post a link down below, and you can see really what the Proffie board can do. But just wanted to give you a quick look at this one. So hold the button in, turn the blade off. So we'll take a look at another one here. Take a look at Leia here. So this one, if you caught that, you'll actually see a spark ignition here. Actually turns white and then travels up the blade. So many cool effects that you can do with the Proffie board, and definitely check out that video so you can see everything that comes along with this saber and all the cool effects that you get with this one as well. So I'm really happy that you stopped by to take a look at this one. Love the way this came out, and I think I did a great job on doing justice for Kylo Ren, one of my favorite characters. And so this is my Kylo Ren inspired saber. So as always, like, subscribe, come back often. I have a ton of more stuff coming out. Great new ideas that you don't want to miss. Trust me. Blue Force Sabers is going way far into the future here, and I'm really going to come out with some really cool stuff. So subscribe so you don't miss that. And yeah, until next time, take care and God bless.